ROI, of course, is the ultimate measure of value, and it's a measure that management understands. What's the return on investment in a particular event? But it's much more than that. To measure results, you need to have objectives to measure against. So it's very much about setting the right objectives.
In short, for my clients, can you tell them why it is so important that I took this training?
Well, I think this enables you to prove the value of the events that you deliver. That's the essence. That's where we want to get at. But there's something much more that happens. When you decide to measure results better, first thing you have to do is to have some better objectives to measure against. And it takes you into that process of setting not just one objective, but setting a series of objectives that are each connected one to the other. You involve your client, and your client will end up with a much better understanding as well. What is it really we try to achieve? How will this event connect to our bottom line? It's a different mindset, really, and changing mindsets takes time. It's the mindset of always putting value first and then everything else follows. You don't just need to know what should be the result in terms of behavior. To design the experience which will generate that behavior, you need to understand why they don't do it already. What's the problem? And only then can you start thinking about what's the experience we need to take them through at this event to get the behavior which will enable them and us to make more money.
For us, it's hard to implement it in a pitch because you'll be asked to write a creative concept, and you spend a lot of time working on that concept, but you only have the small 2-page briefing or 3-page briefing. You get your research from the website, and would you think it'd be a good idea if we told our clients, look, you'll be happy to do the pitch, but first we need to sit down and get the objectives formulated on paper?
Well, of course. I mean, what a nonsense. How can you develop a concept for an event without really fully understanding what are we trying to achieve here? How does it connect to our mission or to our bottom line? What exactly is it we need these people attending the event to do to give us the benefit? If you don't fully understand that, how can you develop a concept? And I think a reason why so many events fail to reach their potential is because the objectives were not clear. And then we set a number of objectives, applying the ROI methodology or the ROI pyramid. There's a sequence of objectives. How does this event hit the bottom line? What's our impact objectives? Those objectives we can only reach by influencing the behavior of the participants. The participants, as a result of the event, have to give us the value. So what are the participant behavior objectives? What do we want them to do after the event to create the impact? And then to change people's behavior, if you ask a behavioral psychologist, they say you have to have a cognitive change before you can get a behavioral change. Now, a cognitive change is just a fancy word for a learning experience. So we set objectives for the particular learning experience or the event experience that will drive the behavior. And to have effective learning, you need to have a good learning environment. So we set objectives for the learning environment. And then last but not the least, you need to have the right people in the room. We call that target audience objectives. When you've set these objectives, then measuring results all of a sudden becomes much easier. It's the setting of objectives which is the hard part. You can always get the data, analyze your data and deliver your results. Sometimes you go all the way to the top of this chain of objectives and measure financial ROI, but most of the time you know if you had a good event long before you get to that level. And that's essentially what the ROI methodology is all about.